I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that it's realistic. Do you agree? It's never felt more real. It has never felt more real. Oilers, Leafs, Stanley Cup Final. John Butchergross said it could be the most chaotic Cup Final, and he said that it would be the Leafs raising the cup in Edmonton. That made me throw up. It made me nearly die, quite frankly. But both teams up in their series, and Dom Luszczyszyn put out his the chart that has the chances of advancing, winning the Stanley Cup. There's numbers. I have no idea what they mean.
Sounds like me doing an
Oilers,
HOF bets read.
Oilers 85-15 to get out of this round, 19 to win the Stanley Cup. The only team better, Toronto Maple Leafs, 20. Don't know what those numbers mean, but right now,
I think those are the percentages.
Do those all add up to 100? I would imagine they do.
Yeah.
Okay, 20% chance Leafs win, 19% Oilers win, tied with the Stars. There's a lot that can change, but I need to note, it has never been more realistic. I think that we should start to believe in the Leafs. I think the Oilers right now, we've discussed the hardest out in hockey. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that it's realistic. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, there's...
He likes, look at him. He likes the Leafs.
I mean, we had this conversation yesterday. Like, I'm not like putting them in the final, but the Leafs are handling business in a way that I'm not used to them handling business, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Agree. Nate Trout says Oilers have to deal with Moose before you can start that talk. No, we can start the talk now, but I agree. They have to deal with Eichel first. I don't think the Oilers series is over, and I don't think that the Leafs series is over. Which team do you think has a better chance right now? Same question I asked Dimitri, but I'll phrase it differently. Which team do you think has a better chance of advancing past this series in which they've already won 2 games?
I think the Oilers do, for like the same reasons that Dimitri laid out.
Just because they're going home?
Yeah, pretty much. And I think that's huge for the Oilers. Like, I did see Edmonton. I think the team account started calling. Is this new? They started calling their home building the Thunderdome,
the Terror Dome. I believe.
Terror Dome.
Who's doing this?
The Oilers.
Yeah, check their Twitter.
Rogers the Terror Dome.
After they won the game, they tweeted back to the Terror Dome, and there was a picture of a guy that looked like the dude outside the Candlelight Theater saying, "We're gonna go nuts in there." The guy that's fucking with the guy that doesn't talk during his performances.
Said it in the chat, but we do have a hearing for Nick Waugh.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I would want a hearing there too, just to be like, talk me through it, buddy.
Did he talk last night? Did he speak to the media? Because I said that during the stream. I was like, I want him to speak to the media, not to like answer for what he did, but just out of curiosity, would like to know what he was going through his mind.
Chat jumping in on this Terror Dome thing. Right On and On says that it is that's a banger post. Tokyo Sex Whale calls it the Scary Dome. Katie O'Keefe, shout out Katie, says,
scary.
Ooh, scary. I believe friend of the show and Oilers podcast co-host of mine, Ryan Whitney. We have an Oilers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You and Biz have a
Leafs podcast.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My co-host Ryan Whitney, I believe, coined the phrase Terror Dome. Started saying it this week, and the Oilers jumped on it. And the Oilers are good to their own. They bring in their alum. Something about Witt being definitely not the face of the Decade of Darkness, but just like ultimate Decade of Darkness player.
Yeah.
Ryan Whitney. And there's a lot of ultimate Decade of Darkness players, but like
he was like the godfather of the Decade of Darkness.
Like he's like the, what do you mean?
Like he oversaw the Decade of Darkness.
Yeah.
Like he was the one being like Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle can't play hangman. These guys are the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life.
Sean Horkoff? Horkoff, Ferentz?
Yeah, I mean, Ferentz was the captain.
Ferentz, they were like, save us. He was like, you bet. And Decade of Darkness, too powerful, too strong. But yes, I believe the Terror Dome was coined by Ryan Whitney. So that's what they're calling that.
I mean, if it's the Terror Dome, are Oilers fans and Oilers players terrorists? If they inflict terror in the Terror Dome,
Jake
which
Wallman's
is
kind of a terrorist.
Victor
that's
Evan
Arvidsson.
Bouchard is
kind of
a big-time
suggested that
terrorist.
they're doing terror inside that building, which makes everybody who is in an Oilers sweater a terrorist.
Will Dustin
if
Penner
true.
be dropping the puck tomorrow night? Asks Michael Curtis. Okay, we agree that the Oilers are more likely to win this round, which is not done. Which team do you think is more likely to reach the Stanley Cup Final?
Between who?
Oilers.
I was thinking about those
Leafs.
terrorists.
Hard not to.
Oilers.
I say Oilers because they're more likely to get out of this round. I'm not guaranteeing it, though. I think that the next round, should both teams advance to their respective conference final, I feel way better about the Leafs than I do about the Oilers. Although, at this rate, I'm not predicting a sweep, but if the Oilers win both of these games at home, which I'm not saying is going to happen, we start having the no one's beating them conversation. And I don't know if at any point we get to a nobody's beating them conversation with the Maple Leafs, with all due respect.
But even if the Oilers sweep, I still think that like Dallas is a team that can beat the Oilers.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. They've got the goaltending. They've got the defense, although still do they? We will ask. At some point, their defense is on pumpkin watch.
At some point, they're getting Miro back, who is one of the best defensemen in the league.
Right, but their defense will remain on pumpkin watch with Miro Heiskanen.
I suppose, but like we still, it's the Oilers conversation that we were having heading into the playoffs. We're like, we don't know what it is yet because we haven't seen Miro. So like, I think Edmonton I feel more confident in Edmonton getting through this round, but I think that they have a tougher opponent awaiting them next round. And I don't think that that's the case for the Leafs. Like, I'm not so certain that the Leafs are going to get through this round, but if they do get through this round, I'm like almost booking their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final.
Dacky says Leafs road gets easier, Oilers road gets harder.
Right.
Completely agree with that. If it happens, Sean, what do you think? You think this can happen? Think this is in play?
Like them meeting in the cup?
Yeah, I'm Joseph Walling you. Is a Oilers Leafs Stanley Cup Final possible?
Like, is it literally?
Like
is it possible?
literally?
Is it
Like,
possible?
yeah.
I mean,
right?
yeah, obviously. I think I agree with everything you said. I think if you're asking me which team I think has a better chance of winning their current series, it's the Oilers. But if they both get out of this series, I think the Leafs have a much better chance of winning the Stanley Cup, or at least getting
Winning
the
or
Stanley
getting
Cup.
there?
Both, I guess.
Yeah, just by being.
Like I
Gotta be
think
there to win it.
Yeah, like I think the Stars are the best team in the playoffs right now. And so if both of these teams get to the next round, the Oilers are going to have a much harder time.
Do we go to Toronto if the Leafs are in the cup either way?
Yeah, because I got to kiss JD Bunkus.
Oh, but you said you weren't going to travel for that.
No,
Well,
we decided
I
we're
would travel
meeting
for the cup, and if JD Bunkus was there, then I'd kiss him.
We
But
decided
I'm
we're
not
meeting on the
traveling-
Rainbow
I'm not
Bridge.
going to travel for the purpose of kissing JD Bunkus.
We're meeting on the Rainbow Bridge. We discussed this.
Someone make a quote thing. I'm not going to travel for the purpose of kissing JD Bunkus. Pete Blackburn on traveling for the purpose of kissing JD Bunkus. If it's Oilers Leafs, I'm absolutely going to Toronto and possibly to Edmonton as well. If Oilers are back in the cup final, I might just go anyway. It's too much of a scene.
I just don't know what I would do in that situation because I hate the Leafs, but I love Auston Matthews. And there's part of me that wants Auston Matthews, like an American from Arizona, to be the reason a cup comes back to Canada. If it's going to go back to Canada.
Yeah, I've got thoughts on how I would feel about the Leafs winning the Stanley Cup, but we'll save that for when it gets more realistic. For now, we have to agree.
That would be the
This can happen.
perfect foil for like all the Canadians' responses to like when Americans chirp them for like always getting the cup. They're like, how many Canadians are on those teams? If Canada finally gets its cup and the first person to touch it is an American,
a Mexican American,
American,
just like
so
you're
good.
not even the second best country in North America at hockey.
You are the third North American country factoring into
the games were literally just played there. That's all you had to do with it.
Yes.
We all silly like the mayor.